Hi there, cosmic mystics, fellow travelers, star lovers, stargazers. As we come into this week, I'm recording this on December 14th, 2025. As we're coming into this last week of the lunar cycle, this is the time of the lunar cycle where we have the opportunity to slow down and integrate some of the experiences that we've had since the new moon, the last new moon. So in this week, we'll be completing some lessons, possibly some challenges, some changes in our relationships where we needed to bring in more balance and more harmony into our relationships, also into our relationship with ourselves and with life itself, and just completing some of those shifts that may have been going on over the last few weeks. So we're coming into the last week, the lowest energy of the lunar cycle, and since the moon doesn't have a light source of its own, it only reflects the light of the sun. As we enter into this cycle, there's the least light that we're receiving reflected off the moon, and this makes it a little more introverted, a little bit more receptive energy. So we can move into that now as we're entering into the last week of the cycle. And then we will have this new moon, which will be right at the galactic center on the cusp of Ophiuchus and Sagittarius. And if you're not familiar with Ophiuchus, I'm using True Sidereal Astrology, which uses the actual natural sky and the natural size of the constellations. And Ophiuchus has been left out of modern astrology, so that's what I'm talking about here. And you can go down into the description below the video to find out more about True Sidereal Astrology. There's also a chart calculator, a link down there to my website where you can see your true sidereal, which will be the most accurate birth chart for your birth. And it'll be very different from tropical or Vedic charts, which are not accurate to the natural sky. So as this new moon approaches, we have quite a lot of inner intensity building, you could say. In a way, it's building, but in another way, it's also completing. And, you know, in life, before new energy can come in, the old energy needs to go out. And so, at this last week, before the new moon, we're sort of releasing what's ready to be let go. We're allowing that to be released from our lives and bringing in a new cycle of transformation. Because Ophiuchus is really about transforming the wounds that we've seen in Scorpio. In Scorpio, which is previous to Ophiuchus, as we're going through that cycle, and all of these luminaries and planets that we're looking at here in the chart on the right-hand side, Mercury is currently in Scorpio, but Venus has just come through there, the Sun has just come through there, the Moon, Mars. So that would have stirred up a lot of depth, a lot of deep insight into what we're carrying that still needs to be healed and transformed, the next phase of that. So as everything is moving into Ophiuchus, and we have Venus there right now, and she'll still be there during the new moon, it's really about bringing in a new level of love for the transformational process, a new level of acceptance. And with the squares going over there to Saturn, also a new level of patience. and endurance, able to stay with the process of releasing whatever needs to be released and bringing in more love, more unconditional love for ourselves into this transformational journey that we're all on in our own unique way. So very powerful new moon at the galactic center. The galactic center is the birthplace of our solar system. And this is all just my instinct, but even in science, in astronomy, it's a huge black hole that our whole galaxy is spiraling around. So it is very central to our experience here on Earth, this point in the sky. And the fact that the new moon is happening here is a very powerful, probably the most powerful new moon of the year. For me, I see this as the beginning of the new year, astrologically. I don't know if any other astrologers would have that same interpretation, but to me, the galactic center is sort of like a completion and a birth, a death and a birth process. And since the new moon is at the end of Ophiuchus, right about to enter into Sagittarius, to me this new moon signifies the completion of the last lunar year, 13 lunar cycles, a completion of that process and the birth of the new cycle that we're moving into, the new year, you could almost say, astrologically speaking. But technically, we consider the new year to be at the end of December, but this is pretty close, and the 13-month lunar cycle is not aligned with the 12-month Gregorian cycle. So we're a little bit out of sync with that since it's not a natural system, the Gregorian cycle. So to me, this is a great time to set intentions, a very powerful new moon to set intentions for the coming year. And with these squares over to Saturn and Neptune, which I've done a separate short video, I'll be doing another one. This process that we've been in over the last year has a lot to do with really bringing our true nature, our soul, into our physical reality. Saturn, looking at the programs and the traditions and the social ideas and all the systems that have been created by man, looking at them objectively and deciding consciously whether or not they're true for us, instead of just unconsciously allowing them to run behind the scenes. So it's a very deep transformational process that we're in, of, in a way, deprogramming ourselves. And a lot of the belief systems that we would have taken on have been also serving to keep us in a state of delusion, you could say, about who we really are. The experience of bringing our true nature into the world is what Neptune and Saturn together are giving us an opportunity to do, to have the patience to look at what is not true for us and to allow that to dissolve. Neptune is very deep work and can be very challenging at times, because with Neptune we're dealing with a very nebulous energy at times, where it's very difficult to know what's going on. We can feel very lost when we really go deep into Neptune. But the beauty of this process is that if we can just stay with whatever's arising and allow it to present itself to us, and that's where Saturn comes in. It gives us the patience and the perseverance to stay with this spiritual process, this unfolding. Then we come out the other side more of who we are, lighter, carrying less social baggage, So I feel this new moon is the beginning of a new cycle of this process. And with Mars there in Sagittarius, we have the energy and the fire that we need to be true to our own individuality. Sagittarius is a very expansive energy. It's ruled by Jupiter, and it's about getting to the truth. And in this situation, with this square from Mars also over to these two planets, having the determination to get to the truth, our own truth, and to be able to stay with the process. Mars is giving us some support here. So all in all, a very powerful new moon. And like I was said earlier, a really great time to consciously set intentions for our lives for the next year. And with this square between Jupiter in Gemini and Chiron, the planet of the wounded healer, Chiron is the ruler of Ophiuchus. So there's a connection here. You can't see the square line in the chart for some reason, but this square between Jupiter and Chiron began around October 23rd of this year, and it's hitting again this week, and it will complete on July 7th of next year. So this is Jupiter giving us an opportunity to heal. My sense is a lot of mental processes, to bring more peace into our mental experience. And those two words can kind of be contradictory, peace of mind. For me anyway, I don't think peace is found in the mind. I think peace is found beyond the mind. So Jupiter here could be helping us to be able to go beyond the mind and to step into the expanded reality that we exist in. So with this new moon being in Ophiuchus and Ophiuchus's ruler, Chiron, having this square to Jupiter, and there's a lot of positive energy moving in other areas of the chart, my sense is that we're going to see very positive progress after we come out of this new moon cycle. Give it, 3 or 4 days. As the sun is moved into Sagittarius, and then the planets, Venus starts moving into Sagittarius, we're going to feel a more expansive experience of ourselves. So whatever's going on for you right now, however challenging it may be, and it may or may not be, just stay with the process and be compassionate to yourself and stay patient and allowing things to arise so that they can be seen and felt. And that's the beauty of awareness, is that when you're willing to just stay witnessing, observing what's arising, and allowing yourself to see it and feel it, it can integrate or dissolve. So along with this, we have Uranus still in Taurus. My sense is, and he's retrograde, my sense is with this Uranus placement that we're getting a lot of insight into what's held in the body. A lot of new insights, revelations into what is held in our body, and the opportunity to see that in a more profound way, connected with Jupiter being in Gemini, giving us the ability to understand these energies that are held in the body. And Taurus also has a lot to do with our survival instinct, and also how survival plays into the relationships that we choose and the relationships that we find ourselves in. So those themes could be coming up also. Just seeing the connections between our own survival and the relationships that we're choosing, the relationships that we find ourselves in, and being able to see that there is a deeper level in relationship than just survival, and that meeting our own needs and the other meeting their own needs is very much an important part of the balance in relationship. We can help each other and support each other, but ultimately each person has to know what they need. Nobody else can tell you that or have that information, even if they think they do. Only you know what you need. And this Uranus placement to me is giving us an opportunity to be more connected with our own needs and our own values, to be an individual in that area when it comes to our bodies and our well-being. So a lot of very powerful transformational energies with this new moon. And like I said at the beginning, with Mercury there in Scorpio, we could find that we may not feel at this time like communicating a lot of what the depth of what's going on in our souls, because bringing things into the mind changes them. And Scorpio is a very deep experience of what's going on. And with Mercury there, you might find that you want to share, you want to communicate what's going on deep within you, but you may not be able to put it into words. And if that's the case, just wait a week or so until, actually it'll be a little bit longer, a couple of weeks, until Mercury moves through Scorpio and Ophiuchus and enters into Sagittarius. And that can be a very good time then to have the expansion and the space and the ability to communicate some of these deeper issues or deeper insights that may be going on at the moment. So I think that's about it for this new moon report. There's always more that comes to me later. But just lastly, looking at Pluto over there on the right hand side in Capricorn. He's firmly into Capricorn now. And this process that we're in of breaking down the old structures internally and externally, and coming into a more nurturing relationship with ourselves and with our physical reality. And Pluto being the planet that rules our individual evolution and also our collective evolution, is sort of like the big daddy in this picture in a way, grounding everything that's going on in our sky and slowly and steadily moving forward in Capricorn and helping us to bring in the changes into our physical reality, into our body, the healing, the restructuring, allowing the breaking down of structures that may have been in our lives for a long time but are now outdated, and helping us to, turn that into compost, you could say, for this new cycle that's coming in with this new moon at the galactic center. So, yeah, it's always good to love yourself unconditionally, no matter what's going on, inside, outside, with relationships, with the world, to find that connection and that love for yourself as you are, just in your unique individuality, and to settle into that and allow more of that to come through. So thanks so much for joining me. I'd love to hear any of your comments or your experiences down below. And I look forward to coming back and bringing you the next chapter of the Neptune-Saturn conjunction, where I'm going to speak about this conjunction in the houses. So if you have your chart, you can take a look and see where Pisces is, which house Pisces occupies in your chart, and then you'll know more specific information about where this awakening is occurring in your life. So that's it for now. Thanks so much.